What if I told you that a simple tailor became the most dangerous mind in the criminal underworld? Today's story is about the movie The Outfit, a tense psychological crime thriller set in 1956. In this film, a quiet tailor named Leonard runs a small shop, but behind those walls lies a deadly game of gangsters, secrets, betrayal, and manipulation. No guns, no army, just one man's mind, turning chaos into control. Every character has a hidden motive, every conversation hides a trap, and every second pulls you deeper into a world where trust doesn't exist. And by the end of this story, you'll realize sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't violence, it's intelligence. So stay till the end, because this story will completely change how you see power and survival. The story takes us back to 1956. A master tailor named Leonard arrives at his shop. As always, he begins by cleaning the place, carefully arranging his tools, and settling into his routine. Once everything is in order, he prepares a cup of coffee for himself. Just then, a woman named Mabel walks in. She works there as a receptionist. There's also a letterbox inside the shop. People often drop off letters in it, but Leonard doesn't pay much attention to them. Suddenly, a well-dressed young man named Richie shows up. He's there to collect all the letters that have been dropped off. Looking around, he casually asks Leonard, "That's a fine suit. Is it for my grandfather?" Leonard calmly replies, "No, it's for someone else." At that moment, Richie's companion, Francis, notices a letter with a peculiar symbol, an outfit sketched on top of it. Sensing something, Richie asks Leonard to step outside. Leonard quietly complies, stepping out and closing the gate behind him. Outside, Mabel strikes up a conversation. She says, "You've traveled the world, and this is where you chose to open your shop." Leonard responds, "Why? What's wrong with this place?" She replies, "Gangsters come here." Leonard shrugs it off and says, "They're everywhere. All I need is my scissors and an assistant like you. With that, I can work anywhere." Soon after, Richie and Francis leave. As Mabel helps Leonard with his work, she admits she doesn't like the kind of people who come here. Leonard simply says, "A customer is a customer, whether he's a gentleman or a gangster." In truth, Leonard cares for Mabel like a daughter, but she dreams of leaving this place behind and settling in London. Eventually, she leaves for the day, and Leonard continues his work alone, finishing up before sitting down for dinner as night falls. He kept working for a while and eventually fell asleep. In the middle of the night, a sudden sound of the gate opening wakes the master tailor up. It was Mabel and Richie. Both of them had come together. It becomes clear that they were secretly involved in an affair, and from their behavior, it's obvious that Richie never meant any harm to her. While they are talking, a ring slips from the tailor's hand and falls to the ground. The sound catches their attention, and both of them turn toward the direction of the noise. But Leonard quickly pretends to be asleep, lying still and acting as if nothing happened. Satisfied, they leave the place. The next morning, Mabel returns again as usual, dressed and ready for another normal day. Life continues in its routine pattern. Customers come in, leave measurements, and walk out. Richie also keeps coming to collect the letters and parcels, but the tailor carries on his work with perfect focus, as if nothing in the world concerns him. But that night, something different happens again. Someone knocks on the door. When Leonard opens it, he finds Richie and Francis standing there. Richie is injured, and it turns out the police are chasing them. Francis brings Richie inside so he can treat his wounds safely. Leonard doesn't want to get involved in their mess, but he has no choice but to help them. Francis explains that both the police and several dangerous gangsters are after a briefcase. If it falls into the wrong hands, there will be chaos and heavy gunfire. Leonard simply nods and says he understands. Francis then goes to call Richie's grandfather and informs him about the attack and Richie's condition. He says that Richie's father is on the way, but it will take some time to arrive. Leonard examines Richie's injury and explains that the wound has gone through his stomach. Because of the blood loss, his life is at serious risk. It needs immediate stitching and he must be taken to a doctor. But Francis refuses. There is no time and no doctor involved. He insists that Leonard himself must stitch the wound. Leonard strongly refuses at first, but Francis threatens him with a gun, forcing him to comply. Reluctantly, Leonard prepares his needle and thread. As he begins the stitching, Richie, in pain, shouts angrily, asking what they are doing to him. Francis restrains him, and Leonard calmly performs the procedure with skilled precision. The bullet wound is severe. It has gone through his body, so he carefully stitches both sides of the injury. After finishing, Leonard washes his hands and returns. Francis says he will step outside for a while, asking Leonard to keep an eye on Richie until then. At that point, Francis warns them that both the police and gangsters are already after them. He adds that the CBI has introduced a new device. This tape is not ordinary. It records every sound inside it. Whether it's gangsters or police, you will have to deal with them on your own. And if he doesn't get this tape back by the time he returns, they both know very well what he is capable of doing. Meanwhile, the tailor quietly returns to his work, trying to stay away from all this trouble. Soon after, Richie comes back and thanks the master tailor for helping him. The tailor asks him a serious question. Who could do something like this to his family? Surely he must have some suspicion about the enemy behind all this. Richie then asks, "How do you know all this? Who told you?" The tailor calmly replies that Francis had mentioned something about a secret inside the tape. That's why he went out to bring a device that can play it. Richie immediately says he has no idea about any of this. The tailor then makes a bold claim, saying, "Do you know who I am? I am the informant. The FBI has placed hidden microphones right here." At first, Richie gets angry hearing this, but within seconds he starts laughing, thinking it's just a joke. The tailor replies calmly, "Why? Can't I be an informant?" Richie looks at him and jokes about his appearance, making fun of the idea. The tailor then casually says, "I just hope your cousin Francis is doing okay." Richie quickly corrects him. "He's not my cousin. My father has a habit of picking up useless stray people like dogs and bringing them home, especially the ones with sharp teeth." Just then, the doorbell rings. The tension rises again. The tailor quickly starts playing with the situation using his intelligence. He subtly begins turning Richie against Francis and Francis against Richie, manipulating both sides without showing his real intention. When Francis returns, he tells them he's taking the tape because he has found an electronics shop that has a machine to play it. But Richie insists, "Wait for my father. When he arrives, we'll go together." Francis replies that Richie's father's life is in danger and he genuinely cares for him, almost like his own father. Richie, irritated, snaps back and begins insulting Francis's background, saying he's just a street tomato seller. Francis demands the tape again and says, "Give it to me. If you try to stop me, I'll break your hand." A struggle breaks out, and in the chaos, the briefcase is thrown aside. It falls to the ground and opens, but to everyone's shock, there is no tape inside. Richie immediately suspects that Francis has already taken it out and hidden it somewhere. Angrily, he points his gun at Francis. But Francis thinks the opposite, that Richie is the one who has hidden the tape somewhere else. Just then, a small noise comes from the tailor's side of the room. Richie gets distracted for a moment. In that split second, Francis pulls out his gun and shoots Richie. Not stopping there, he fires again to make sure. With Richie dead, Francis starts searching desperately for the tape, but there's no sign of it anywhere. At that moment, Richie's grandfather arrives at the house. Francis quickly turns to the tailor and says, "Put the body in the box. I'll handle everything here. You go and distract his grandfather. It's always a pleasure meeting you." He asks where the two of them are. The tailor calmly points inside. Meanwhile, Francis comes out and says, "You saved my life earlier, and now you help my son too. How can I ever repay you?" Ray then asks about Richie. Francis lies smoothly, saying, "He came to you earlier. I was supposed to leave with him, but he told me to wait here for you. He said he would come back and pick us both up." Ray then steps outside and calls his men, asking if Richie has returned home. They reply, "No, he hasn't." Inside, Ray's bodyguard sits on top of the box where Richie's body is hidden. At that moment, Francis and the tailor are both extremely tense, trying to stay calm. When Ray comes back inside, Francis quickly suggests, "Let's go outside and search for him. And you should let the master tailor leave as well." The situation is now slipping further out of control. Ray insists he will not leave from there. He says his men are on the way and he will stay until he gets his son back. Meanwhile, the master tailor quietly goes back to his work, trying to act normal despite the tension in the room. Ray then questions him, "Why did you leave London?" The tailor replies calmly that there was a gang attack there, something related to blue jeans. He says he was just a simple tailor stitching clothes, so he had no choice but to leave. He brought only his scissors with him, and that tool has been his only companion ever since. Ray responds coldly, saying that in life there are always two choices. He chose the gun over the scissors. Just like tailoring, where useless cloth is thrown away after cutting, he says he also throws bodies away after killing. He adds that he is telling all this because Richie's coat is hanging here. He would never go outside without a jacket in this cold. He demands the truth. Tell me exactly what happened here. The tailor replies that he is not hiding anything. Ray then calls his men and orders them. If the tailor speaks anything out of turn, they should shoot him instantly. The tailor is now trapped. If he speaks, he dies. If he stays silent, he still dies. Just then, Francis returns, and Mabel is with him. Ray immediately confronts them, demanding, "Tell me where my son is. If anyone knows anything, speak now. I won't spare you." The tailor is stuck in a deadly situation. Before he can respond, Francis tries to control the situation as well. Finally, the tailor begins speaking carefully. He says Francis had earlier shot one of Ray's men during the evening incident. Richie did not fire a single bullet, but he felt ashamed and determined that he would return after killing LaFontaine. Before leaving, he had taken an oath from both Francis and the tailor not to reveal anything. Richie believed he had gone to Ray's house because of his girlfriend, and that belief was now part of the confusion spreading in the room. "I'm not the one," she says, but Monk interrupts and confirms, "Yes, it is her. I know it too." Francis adds that when he went to Richie's house searching for him, he saw a large pool of blood on the carpet. The suspicion keeps growing, and Ray calls Mabel closer, demanding again, "Tell me, where is my son?" Mabel insists she doesn't know anything, but Francis continues trying to shift all blame onto her. The master tailor steps in and says firmly that he has known her for a long time. She has nothing to do with any of this. She is innocent, but Ray refuses to believe it. He orders Monk to take her into the back room, then tells the tailor not to worry. He will have his room cleaned up later. As the tailor tries to leave, Francis stops him again. Ray also returns and blocks the way. The tension rises sharply. The tailor, emotionally shaken, says he has always treated Mabel like a daughter and cannot watch all this happen. Just then, the phone rings. Ray orders, "Answer it." The tailor cleverly pretends to be speaking with Richie on the phone. He fabricates a message, saying that Richie is trapped in a building and is given an address, asking his father to come there immediately to rescue him. Ray immediately prepares to leave, but Francis says, "I will stay here and keep an eye on them. If they try anything or call the police, I'll handle it." Ray agrees and leaves with his men. As soon as he is gone, Francis turns to them and says coldly, "Either we kill this girl together, or I kill both of you right now." At that moment, the master tailor uses his sharp mind. He explains that Mabel is the one who will call LaFontaine. She will inform him that Ray has gone to the building with his men. Francis asks why she would do that. The tailor explains that she is the informant. Richie used to share everything with her, and for money and her dream of going to London, she has been leaking information. Francis then asks about the tape. The tailor calmly replies, "It's with me." He quickly adds that if LaFontaine is not contacted within 5 minutes, Ray will return empty-handed and kill all 3 of them. So instead of waiting for Ray to return and wipe them out, it is better to let LaFontaine's men eliminate Ray and his team. Then Francis can take control. Mabel then takes the phone and contacts LaFontaine, giving him information about Ray and demanding a large amount of money in exchange for the tape. After finishing the call, she returns and asks again, "Where is Richie?" The tailor silently shows her Richie's body, and in that moment, everything begins to fall apart. A car sound is heard approaching outside. Francis immediately says, "I'll go inside and hide. You stay here and handle everything carefully. If things go wrong, I'll start firing blindly." The door opens, and LaFontaine enters. She walks in and places a bag of money on the table and says, "Give me the tape." The master tailor quickly understands the situation. If she takes the tape and leaves, Francis will kill both of them and still take the money. So he calmly says, "Madam, until you give the money properly, we cannot hand over the tape." At the same time, he subtly signals that a man with a gun is already hiding inside. Everyone becomes alert and silent. Suddenly, gunshots are heard outside. Francis rushes out holding his gun, only to find LaFontaine's men already surrounding him. Francis tries to negotiate. He says, "Give me the money and I'll leave quietly. The tape will be given to you." LaFontaine coldly replies that she has already spent her whole life dealing with criminals like him. She even says she just killed Ray, the biggest gangster there, and she is not afraid of anyone. The tailor calmly steps in and says, "Don't worry, madam. I already removed all the bullets from his gun." Hearing this, Francis checks his weapon and realizes he has been tricked. Before he can react, LaFontaine's men shoot him down. She then hands over the tape, leaves the money bag behind, and walks away saying, "A tailor who never speaks, nobody can ever understand what's going on in his mind." Later, it is revealed that the tape was actually fake all along. and it was the master tailor's plan from the beginning. He had already figured out the recording device situation. He takes the real recorded device containing everything that happened that night and gives it to Mabel, telling her, "Submit this to the CBI. I want nothing to do with this anymore. Go wherever you want and live your life freely." Mabel leaves. Then the master tailor quietly puts on a suit, preparing himself once again. He pours kerosene all around the place and sets it on fire. But suddenly, Francis, who is still alive, stands up and attacks him. A bullet hits the tailor's arm. Francis tries to stab him, but the tailor stops him and says calmly, "Before becoming a tailor, I was just like you, a gangster. Guns and knives were my closest companions, but I never needed them to kill anyone because I always knew how to control the situation without violence." And as Francis lunges forward again, the final confrontation begins. Francis makes his final move, but the master tailor is already prepared. With a swift motion of his scissors, he ends Francis once and for all. Silence falls over the room. The master tailor stands there for a moment, holding his scissors, his only companion throughout everything. Then, calmly, he gets ready, takes his tools, and walks away to begin a new life in a different place. This beautiful movie ends here.